Hey everyone, and welcome to Rambling Reviews, where we analyze different types of media and or their cultural relevance. My name's Christian, and this is Modern Family Season 1, Episode 8. This episode was written by Joe Lawson, who previously had worked on shows like Cavemen and Love Bites. Cavemen was a canceled show. Love Bites was a show that seemed to have only gotten like 9 episodes. Looks pretty good. I looked it up on IMDb and added it to my list. It was also directed by Jason Weiner, who has directed multiple episodes by this point, and we've already gone over his previous work. Now, this episode guest stars both Elizabeth Banks and Reed Ewing. Now, I haven't talked about Reed Ewing yet because he's the guy that's playing Haley's boyfriend, Dylan, Dylan Marshall. However, I wasn't really considering him a guest character that was important to really mention like this because he's been a character, he's a very recurring character throughout the series. He's almost more of a secondary character, I would say. Now, Elizabeth, she plays a character by the name of Sal, who, as we'll find out later, is an old friend of Mitch and Cam. Elizabeth had previously been known for things like, the main thing I know her from, at least by name and like by seeing her, is the Walk of Shame. But she was also that woman with like all the makeup and the crazy wigs in Hunger Games, the one who says like, "May the odds be ever in your favor." You know that woman. So she's done a lot of work. Apparently, she was a character called Rita Repulsa in Power Rangers. I don't know if that's talking about the show, like the '90s show, or if that's talking about the movie. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't watched the show since I was like 7. So no, younger than that, probably like 4, 5 maybe. I don't know. But yeah. But she has done work before. She was in the Pitch Perfect movies, or at least the first one. I don't really remember if she was in the second one. Again, it's been years since I've seen those. But yeah, no, she's definitely a good, very good actress, and very funny, as we'll get to later. And yeah, also definitely running for that spot of kind of who's the hottest woman on the show, being her or Gloria. So we'll see. But yeah. And speaking of which, the show opens, this episode I should say, opens with Phil and Claire having their anniversary. So Phil goes up in the morning to greet her and give her present, and he starts with actually something that I think is really cute and creative, where there's this like, I don't know what it's called, but it's one of those things that you like put, you like hold to your head and you can like flip through images. It's like a, I don't know what it's called, but it has images basically from when they were younger together and their past together, which is a really sweet kind of reminiscing present as well. And again, this is where that creativity comes in. He has a picture of a bracelet. This bracelet ends up being the bracelet that he actually has as a gift for her, so he immediately gives it to her. And yeah, he's kind of dorky and everything about this, but you know, it is really sweet and creative and all that. And then we get to where she gives him her present. You know, she loves the creativity and everything, and how, you know, all the everything with this the way that the bracelet was given to her and all that. And then she, you know, Phil goes to get his present and he finds that it is coupons for free hugs. Understandably, he's disappointed by this, although he's trying to hide his disappointment. And the first thing I have to say on this is, man, this is like the lamest shit you can do, like as a partner. I mean, come on, like for like anyone, okay, any of those like free hugs, or even if it's like something like, you know, more sexual or whatever, like you should not be, you know, treating affection for your partner, whether it be like, you know, more PG or more R or X rated, if you will. You shouldn't be treating that as like a reward, or like, oh, it's your birthday, or it's Christmas, or it's whatever. Like, you know, it's the same thing where like there are girls who will be like, oh, I don't know like what to get him like for his birthday, so like I guess we'll finally do anal, or like we'll finally like we'll have a threesome or whatever. It's like, okay, if you want to do those things, first of all, you shouldn't do those things if you don't actually want to, and secondly, if you do, don't have this be as like a special occasion, like, one-time thing like this. Like, do these things because you want to with your partner, not because you're using it as some kind of reward or some kind of like what do you call it, a gift in this regard. Like, you should have, you know romantic and affectionate connection and affection with your partner because you want to and you enjoy having that interaction with each other, not because like it's a gift or some responsibility or something. It's really really odd, and it's also like gross on the one who like receives it, because it's like, for one, it's okay, so like there has to be a special occasion, or I have to like, I only I have these like coupons that I have to like, it's ridiculous. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's all just always struck me as a very like gross thing to do. But either way, this leads to Claire basically kind of narrating that she, or telling him, well, you're so hard to buy for, so, I didn't really know what to get. And we have that little interview section with Phil where he's saying, like, there are so many things I want, most of them being, like, technological, but he's like, I can name off 10, like, just like that. There are so many things. And Claire is not good at giving gifts. Now, I understand this as somebody who, I don't really know either what to ask for from people, nor do I know what to give people as a gift. I'm a big like, just give me money, like, can always use more money, pay for bills, use it for something that I might want, that kind of thing. So I totally understand where, Claire's coming from here with not being good at you know deciding gifts, because my thing is, I don't really know what to get. Money is always a good choice, and I don't, excuse me, like, what to ask for. Money is always a good choice, and at the same time, I don't really know what to get. Money is always a good choice. Simple as that, right? Meanwhile, we have Mitch and Cam dealing with a very common experience for especially uh, couples that have a new child, where essentially they realize that their life has been completely consumed by Lily, and specifically, they need a night out with at least one other adult. They need a night out with friends. They need a night out away to just have no baby talk and just be adults and have fun with other adult friends. So they decide to call up their friend Sal. This is where Elizabeth Banks comes in, where Sal is basically just this friend that they've known for a long time and has essentially been the life of the party, where they've all just always had a great time together, and they decide to call her up because it'd be great. And you might be wondering, okay, but who's going to watch Lily? Well, the answer to that question leads us to the next subplot. And I really like how they get everything to connect here, because they call up Gloria and ask if she can watch them. They're already having the Pritchett's, Gloria and Jay are having all of the Dumfries over anyway, so why not have, Mitch and Cam's baby as well? Now, as they're discussing this here, we have a very, kind of small moment where, you know, um, Haley is wanting to go to this party, and we'll get into that more later. But basically, she agreed um, to see her grandfather and their family and everything. So they're like, well, you made this commitment. It's important that you stay. We're all going as a family. This will be good. Besides, he's getting older. And everything. Don't know how much longer we have left. Where this triggers Luke to be like, wait, is something happening to Grandpa? And Alex, being the little conniving person that she is, just says, oh, they didn't tell you? He's like, what do you mean? What's happening, right? And this whole thing just kind of starts freaking out Luke, and we'll see this kind of be played up a bit moving forward here. But for the most part, this is yeah. But back to the story that kind of started everything off here, we have flowers delivered to, Phil orders flowers delivered to Claire, and basically kind of guilt trips Claire a little bit into the coupon gift, and Claire's like, oh, just kind of like a deer in headlight there. She's like, you thought that was your gift? That's not your only gift. I have something else. And in reality, she has nothing else. We'll revisit this later, as we're now at the Pritchett's house, where Manny is trying to make moves on Haley, all trying to come in all suave with a drink, a glass of water, mind you, but still, a glass of why hello, Haley, trying to be all suave and smooth and sophisticated, and Jay's basically like, look, she's your cousin, right? And Manny's like, we're not blood related, and Jay's like, I will use a hose on you. Now, I have never I've never been one to be like, attracted to my cousins or anything, blood related or not. I don't really understand, I guess, how people are. Like it's still family, it's still, I mean, I guess, someone who's attractive is attractive, and if you don't see them much and really think of them as family, then I guess I kind of understand it. But like these guys are always seeing each other. There isn't really much of like a oh, here's this like person who I find it. I mean, granted, Manny's like 10, and that's another thing. Like I didn't really start, I don't know, caring, I guess, about girls until I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14, 15 maybe, somewhere around there. I was a bit late to the party, a bit of a late bloomer with all that. But regardless, of course this is more or less, played for laughs and everything, but it's funny as all. The same note though, we have Haley basically explaining to Jay that, she has this party she wants to go to and everything. And Jay's like, yeah, no, I totally understand that. After all, it'd be rude to, break off a commitment that you've agreed to. And she's like, I'm so glad you understand. And it just flies right over Haley's head. Obviously Jay is talking about the commitment she made to be here. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you break that commitment. Like, you're going to stay here. And we're going to see a little bit of Jay, what was probably Jay's parenting style with his kids as well, later throughout. But basically, like, on one hand, he's not letting Haley, get away and get out of this or anything, but he goes about this in a very, well, for one, I'd say a very funny way, and a very, well, we'll see. We'll get into it. As Claire's trying to really wow Phil with this new gift she has for him, we have Izzy LaFontaine, played by Edward Norton. Now, Izzy is from this band called Spendu Ballet, which Claire believes is like Phil's favorite band. I didn't mention, I forgot to mention Edward Norton earlier. I know him primarily from The Incredible Hulk, which is apparently how he got involved with this project in the first place. But he was also, of course, in the Fight Club movie, and he's done other things that I don't know off the top of my head. But I like Edward Norton well enough. I do actually think he was the best Bruce Banner we had. I think he was like that 2008 Hulk movie I like much more than either the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk movie or the Hulk we have in the MCU with Mark Ruffalo. Nothing against Mark Ruffalo, but man, I don't like a lot of the MCU versions of these characters. But hey, we're not talking about the MCU. We're talking about Modern Family. So Mitch and Cam have now met up with Sal, and they're all having a great time. They're, talking, sharing old stories. Sal is very proud of the fact that she recently got a tit job. Things like that. And maybe I shouldn't say tit job. She got her boobs done. Tit job sounds like something else. No, she, she's very proud of all these things. She's just having a blast, life of the party, that kind of vibe. But when they bring up anything having to do with Lily, we notice there's a bit of a souring of the mood that happens with her. And it all comes to a height where, after discussing potentially going to Cabo and bringing her along with them, as she goes to excuse herself, Cam mentions that he needs to, call and make sure, just kind of, check in on Lily, things of that nature. And she immediately says, she's like, oh God, you need to kill that baby. And they're like, what, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, I said, call the baby, and they're kind of like wondering and everything. They're like, did we mishear that? Like, what's going on here? So this kind of, sets up the conflict of this dynamic, if you will, for this part of the story. Meanwhile, back at the Pritchett's, Haley is trying to sneak out, and as she does so, we have a moment that I think just really kind of shows off how Jay handles these kind of situations. This is probably something that he's gotten better at and more mellowed out over the years. But regardless, I love this bit because as she's sneaking out, he's fixing a light bulb, and he's like, there it is. I got this fixed. You got to take care of these things, otherwise you'll never get them out. And now with the light on, I can see everything that goes around here. And basically, this is I love this because he's not directly telling Haley, like, look, I know you're trying to sneak out, I'm not going to allow it. He's not yelling at her, he's not scolding her, he's not doing anything. He's just doing this kind of like, oh, isn't that convenient, huh? How about that? He's kind of like doing things and more or less letting her figure it out. Now, of course, the comment earlier that he made where, like, yeah, it'd be rude to break a commitment, that one went over her head. But this one, she's starting to get, she's like, oh god, like he's picking up on this stuff. And, we have this moment where he kind of tells the, interviewer thing once again that essentially there's nothing that Claire Mitchell didn't do that, he's not aware of and not, anticipating with this kind of thing. So he's wise to Haley's tricks, essentially. As Haley's trying to sneak out, Phil is probably wishing he's just about anywhere else right now, as well as he is trying his hardest to make Claire and Izzy think that he's the super fan she thinks he is. So we have this bit where as Izzy is playing all these songs, and by the way, he's the bassist and backup singer. He's not, well, not backup, like he's okay. He's like the he's like the Paul McCartney as opposed to the John Lennon, or he's the Mark Hoppus as opposed to the Tom DeLonge, or the I guess you could say he's the Mike Dirnt as opposed to Billy Joe, but I don't think Mike Dirnt ever really like sung much on Green Day. I think every now and then, but I'd say more like Paul or Mark. But of course, they both had their own like solo work as well without John and without Tom, but this guy didn't. The point is, he's not even the main. He's not even the front man. He's from a washed-up band that Phil doesn't recognize, and he's trying his hardest to, make this nice for Claire so she doesn't feel bad about the whole situation. But as she leaves for a moment, the guy, Izzy, basically is like, oh, look, I'm making this all about me. This is supposed to be your night, name your playlist, right? And Phil is trying to like come up with like fake names for songs or something as he and it becomes very clear to Izzy that, wait a minute, you don't know any of my songs, do you? You don't know who we are. And Phil's me like, no, look, let's just, I'm trying to, there was a mistake, like Claire thought that you guys are my favorite band, you're not, so let's just act like you are, so she feels good about this gift, essentially. And with that, we have this whole dynamic where Claire thinks that she really did great and got Phil a performer of his favorite band. And I mean, I I think Phil, trying to do this is being a really great guy. For me, this would be like, I don't know, I guess like if my wife or girlfriend, got like one of the members of All Time Low to play a like special concert for us, and and it was like, or like that's what I would have wanted, but she would have gotten like some other artist, and I've been like, and who I have no idea who it is, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I'm sorry, dude, like I don't know what this is. But I think Phil's a real trooper for for going through this. Speaking of troopers going through things, Cam and Mitchell are still going through this whole kind of awkwardness with everything that Sal is comments she's making about Lily here and there. There's a moment where she says how, oh, she's going to throw the baby in the ocean, she's refusing to look at any pictures, all this different stuff, and they're like, okay, this is getting crazy, we need to confront this. And as they finally do, she opens up about how basically she was such a big part of their life before, but now ever since they got Lily, they don't really hang out much. They don't really talk much. She feels like Lily has really kind of driven a wedge between them. She even refers to her as Yoko at one point. Like, okay, look, see, even that kind of comes. Guys, I'm kidding. It's because like she broke up our band and like she's Asian, stuff like that, right? And but they get her to really open up about the whole thing, and she just kind of breaks down and she's like, I even had this dream where I wanted to tell you guys about it, but I didn't want to call because I thought, oh no, you might wake their baby. And they try to comfort her and everything and make her understand, like, oh no, you can always call us, you can always talk to us, like all these different things. She ends up falling asleep on Mitch's, I don't want to, not his lap, but like his shoulder, essentially. And they do make a comment about how they wish that Lily was that easy to fall asleep. But I just want to touch on, I completely feel that, where like you're concerned that if you reach out to especially your friends that you're gonna be a nuisance of some sort, like they're in the middle of something or what have you. I'm very much someone who feels that like level of anxiety, and will probably only feel it more when they have kids. But I do very much feel that, where I'm like, okay, I want to talk to this person, I want to hang out with them, I want to whatever, but like I'm worried that they, I guess, have something else going on. So I'm always the kind of person where I'm like, hey, you can always hit me up, like we can hang out, we can talk, whatever. But and I'm sure it does go both ways. Like they always say it does, but for me, I'm always like, well, I don't want to like act on that, which is 100% like an insecurity that I have, and in this case that Sal has. I just want to point out that like that's a relatable thing that people can deal with, something that I deal with and trying to overcome. And yeah, it's just one of those points where brings up a good moment of conversation for that kind of topic as well. I guess what I would say with that, what Sal should do, what I should do, and what you should do if you're ever in that situation, is just simply, if you want to hang out with someone, if you want to talk to them, just do it. If they're busy or whatever, like they'll let you know. And if they don't let you know, that's on them for not letting you know. Communication goes both ways. So if you want to reach out to someone in any capacity, do it and see what happens. Back at the Pritchett's, Dylan has now come over to sneak out Haley. Jay has her come in after a conversation with Gloria about how essentially, Gloria kind of tells him, like, is this how you want her to be? Do you want her to, like, be forced to, stay with us, essentially, to spend time with you? Like, shouldn't she be doing that of her own will? You gotta, like, let her go a bit and just kind of do the things that she wants to do as well. So he decides to let her go and invites Dylan in, who he knows is hiding in these bushes. And we have this little moment where Dylan asks, "How did you know I was here?" He's like, "This is the first way I met Phil for the first time." And once Dylan is there, though, and ready to take her and all that, there's this old Western on that Dylan apparently seems to really like. And as, he like immediately gets like enthralled in movie night with the family. And as Haley's like, but wait, what about the party and everything? Gloria is walking over with a plate of dinner for him, and she's like, don't fight it, Haley. They never grow up. And there's two things I want to touch on here. First of all, yes, a lot of guys are like kind of perpetual man babies, for lack of a better way to say it. I don't think there's anything wrong, of course, with wanting to like hang out with, I think it'd be really nice to, it's like, well, why don't we hang out with like your family, get to, I can get to know them better, they can get to know me, might make them more comfortable about us, things like that. But the fact that he's like, but cowboys, like I want to see the cowboy, that's like, okay, dude, come on, man. But I do want to point out as well, something I haven't touched on yet. Gloria, it's a very small moment, but Gloria throughout this episode has been trying to sing to Lily, and we find out that Lily might be very attractive and smart and capable at a bunch of other things. She is not a good singer. And I really like that because, it's a nice little kind of, character. I wouldn't say character flaw, but just something where it's like, you can't have it all. You can't be all of these incredible things. It's just, you gotta have something where it's like, all right, that like, you can't have that too. You can't also be like an effortlessly good singer or something. You know, you already have all these other things going for you. So I kind of like that. And with that section, with two out of our main stories, two out of three of our main stories essentially being resolved, we have the conclusion of everything going on with Claire and Phil, as Izzy is playing a song called True for both of them, believing that it is their song. And Claire even has this like little piece of paper she reads off and everything. And Phil is like, okay, look, this is not our song, right? Because Izzy gets kind of, you know, touchy about the whole thing. He's like, do you even know what this song's called? The song's called True. This is false. This is a lie. I'm not playing a song called True for someone that doesn't even know what this is about. He's like, no, of course you do. You know this. And he's like, no, it's not. It's not our song. Our song is some other song by some other band, which like immediately hits Izzy. Because, you know, this is a band that was more popular than them. And it's like, well, joke's on you. You fell in love to a breakup song. And we have this moment where basically Claire, you know, confesses that she feels horrible because Phil is great at giving gifts and is very thoughtful and things of this nature, and Claire isn't. Whereas Phil just kind of, you know, spins it around and he's like, what are you talking about? Like, you tried, you know, you went out of your way to make this happen and everything, and you gave us a new song. Like, this is really sweet. So, you know, we have this cute little moment where they're just dancing as Izzy plays this song for them at the end. And you know, I think it's a really sweet moment. You know, is it perfect? Were they listening to their song as they originally like believed it to be or anything? No, of course not. But it's still it's a very sweet moment. And as Phil said, now they have a new song, so it's kind of beautiful in that way. But once again, of course, we end the actual episode by having, you know, a kind of funny, like, you know, punch kind of thing, right? Where Sal is, you know, finally waking up, and she's, you know, they're Mitch and Cam and Sal are all back at the Pritchett's, and she's finally waking up. She's like, oh, let me hold the baby, and Mitch is like, nope, you know. But and we have this bit where Jay like passes out, and Luke, being told what he was about, you know, by Alex, that he might be, you know, dying. He's like, oh no, like I'll always remember you. And Jay's like, what is wrong with this kid? What's going on here? So, you know, and we just kind of end on that funny moment here. The episode as well was in memory of a David Lloyd, and he's apparently quoted with a little song, little dance, little seltzer down your pants. David Lloyd is the father of Christopher Lloyd, and he passed this year, and, you know, they wanted to honor him with this. So, you know, that's sweet as well. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. You know, once again, of course, sweet message. Not really like a, you know, specific message with all of this. You just kind of have these, you know, nice little moments. If there was like an overall message for this, I don't really know what I'd say it was. I mean, you have the whole, I guess, you know, communication and honesty, right? Sal opening up, being honest about how she felt about Lily, ended up kind of resolving their issues. Maybe I don't know, maybe honest. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I'd say Jay being honest with Haley about how, you know, he wants her to, you know, be around and stuff and not just sneak off to this concert, and how it makes him feel. You know, that could have definitely that you know, kind of resolves, you know, that whole thing. And then of course the honesty with you know, with Phil not remembering, or not you know, he could have been honest with Claire, you know, from the jump about not knowing this, not knowing Izzy or the band or any of that stuff. But yeah, and Claire could have been honest, you know, from the jump about, like, I don't have a better gift for you. You know, like, it was just the coupons, you know, it's not great. But yeah, no. But either way, once again, really good episode. I have yet to see an episode, and again, I hope you are like watching these along as well. I have yet to see an episode that I just flat out dislike. The closest we came was a few episodes ago where I didn't love the message of like, oh, it's okay to lie to your loved ones. I don't really like that, but other than that, I mean, no, the episodes have been really spot on, really good. Love the mix of comedy and heart, like I kind of opened this whole thing with. That's what it's all about, and yeah. So on to the next episode. As always, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Follow me on social media for more. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date. Leave a like if you like. And if not, I hope you find something to do like. Later, guys. Peace and love.